Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to our English class. I hope everyone is all ready for another session with me, another night, another hour with me to learn something new today. Now, in this session, we're going to continue with our discussion on IPA or International Phonetic Alphabet. This is already our third session for this topic because, again, IPA or International Phonetic Alphabet is a very important tool for you to really know how to pronounce letters in the English alphabet. No, again, we've encountered problems when it comes to pronunciation in English, which are first, there are one letter that can be pronounced in many ways. Say, for example, the vowels in English. How many vowels are there in English alphabet? There are five vowels, but how many sounds are there produced by these vowels? There are 19 sounds for these vowels alone. But if we look at the general or the whole part, there are 26 alphabet letters, but there are also 44 sounds in total. So it is really not one is to one, meaning one single letter produces only one sound, which makes English or learning English, especially when it comes to pronunciation, really difficult because again it is not one is to one. No, it one letter produces multiple sounds. That's one of the factors that make English pronunciation really hard. The second one is there are multiple letters that produces one sound, meaning a sound can be spelled out in different ways. For example, the F sound or the f sound. It can be spelled out in three ways. First is, of course, the letter F. The letter F itself produces the sound. And then second is PH. It also produces that kind of sound. And lastly, we have GH. A combination of GH can also produce that kind of sound. So it is really complicated. English pronunciation is really complicated. It is really hard to master because again it is very complex. Now there are certain rules and even other words does not follow any rule. They are just pronounced that way, so you really have to memorize it because that's how it should be pronounced. Now again, we understand also that these complexities or difficulties in pronunciation of the English words or vocabularies wherein how it is spelled out is not always, no, most of the time it is not always how you pronounce or speak the word. Okay, so one of the reasons or main reason is because of historical aspect wherein English vocabularies really has got a lot of inspiration from other languages. And then as time goes by, as time passes by, there are changes in pronunciation, but most of the time the spelling of the word retains or remains the same. That is why there are silent letters, no? Those letters that you don't pronounce, but you can see or you write it as part of the spelling of the word. Now, there are a lot of things that you need to consider because most of the time you cannot rely on the spelling alone when it comes to pronouncing the word itself. Now, that is how complicated um, learning English vocabulary and speaking it. That is why we have a tool as a guide, a general tool. So this particular tool does not only apply to English language but to all languages, and we call it IPA or International Phonetic Alphabet. This is our universal map for sounds, meaning there are multiple symbols here that represents only one single sound for each symbol. So one is to one, meaning it is one is to one. One symbol represents only one sound, meaning that if there is a word and then that particular word does have a silent letter, it will not be written. It will not be part of the IPA transcription. So when we say IPA transcription, that is our guide, no, on how to pronounce that particular word. So every symbol that you see in the IPA transcription, you will pronounce it. Okay, you will speak it. If there is a silent letter in the spelling of the English word, it will not be part of the IPA transcription. Because again, every symbol that you see in the IPA transcription should be spoken. Okay, so again, this is our part three for IPA, or International Phonetic Alphabet, and this will not still be the last one because, of course, we have to practice it. Okay, so IPA, or International Phonetic Alphabet, again, is our solution for difficulties in English pronunciation. Because again, why? Well, this is the reason is there are multiple symbols that represents one single sound for each symbol. Now in English language, how many sounds are there? There are 44 sounds for 26 English alphabet letters. So here in the IPA transcription, IPA or IPA chart, or International Phonetic Alphabet, for English language, there are 44 symbols. Each symbol represents each sound in the English language. So one symbol represents only one single sound. Oh, you see there are vowel sounds. There's also voice. Vowels are all voiced sound. Consonants have unvoiced, and there is also voiced sound. Later on, I will talk about how you can identify which is which. But let's do a review of what we've already discussed in the previous discussions or in the previous sessions. So far, we've already covered the vowels, no? The area on the vowels, both the monophthongs and the diphthongs. Now, as you can see here, there are a lot of vowel sounds. How many vowel letters are there in the English alphabet? There are five only. A, E, I, O, U. But see that there are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 20 or 19 vowel sounds included here in the IPA chart. That's how varied, that's how varied the vowel sounds are in English language. Five vowel letters produces almost five times for each vowel. Not for each vowel, for the whole vowel letters. No? So of course, you should take note of this one, that vowels really produces a lot of varied of sounds. Okay? Now for the consonants, okay, there are also a lot of that, a lot of sounds that produces for the consonants, most of the consonants, because not there are consonants that is just spoken into one single sound. So 1:1 is also applied here in consonant, in some of the consonants. But other than that, there are really multiple consonants that produces multiple sounds. Okay. So again, we've already reviewed, or we've already discussed the vowels part. Now let's do a quick review on the vowels part. Here, sorry. Here we started with monophthongs. Again, what is monophthongs? That is representing a single unit sound. No, single meaning one unit sound. It's not gliding, because if you try to see the symbols and then compare it with diphthongs, you see that diphthongs has multiple vowels combined together. So that's the difference between the two. If we say monophthongs, mono meaning single, that is producing one unit sound. Diphthongs, two, no, gliding vowel sounds. Okay? All right. Now here in monophthongs, I'm just gonna read And then I'm just gonna speak the sound and then read the example, because if you want to know more about this one, you can always watch our stream for this one. Okay, let's start with monophthongs. E, sheep. Now, a quick reminder, if there is a colon beside the symbol, like this one, the first one, no, there's a colon here, there's also a colon here, 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 and here, then that represents a long sound. So you try to speak it longer. Okay? E. Let's start. E, ship. E, ship. Oo, good. Ooh, shoot. Bed. Teacher. So this one, upside down E, it's a schwa sound. SCHWA. It is more of like a nothing sound because you say it very quickly and sometimes not at all. Okay? Next is E. I know. Bird. Ooh, door. Cat. Uh, up. Ah, far. Oh, on. Okay? And then those are all for the monophthongs. Let's move on to diphthongs, which is again a gliding vowel sound. There's a combination of two vowels here. Let's start with this one. E, E, here, here. A, wait, wait. Ooh, ooh, tourist, tourist. Oi, oi, boy, boy. Oh, oh, show, show. Ear, ear, hair, hair, hair. I, my, ow, ow, cow, cow. Okay, so those are the different sounds for diphthongs. So in total, those are the different vowels. Let me just read the sound again without the examples. So let's start with from monophthongs to diphthongs. E, I, U, U, E, 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 U, A, U, A, O. Okay. Next, E, A, U, Oi, O, A, I, Ow. So that is all for the vowel sound. I hope if there are any questions, you can always, if there are any questions or clarifications that you would want to be clarified or enlightened, you can always use our chat stream, no, to to share any kind of question that you would want me to answer. Okay. Our chat stream is always available. No, any kind of question or responses that you would want me to read, to recognize, I will recognize it as much as possible. May it be a question or additional information that you would want me to share to everybody, or just an experience about this one. Anything as long as it is related to our discussion. Okay. All right. Now, are we all ready to learn the consonants area or part? We're done with vowels. I hope there are, if there are any clarifications, again, you can always use our chat stream. Okay. Any questions, everybody? Let me see. I am constantly, I am constantly or consistently checking the stream for any kind of responses. So best believe that you can be assured that I can read or recognize any kind of chat that you would want me to read, especially if it is related to our discussion. Okay, I think there are no more questions, so we can proceed. Before starting right away with consonants, let's do a quick breathing exercise to really prepare you with this discussion. On my cue, inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Okay, all good. Let's start. For a moment, I forgot to quickly check. Let me just check now my audio and my PPT so we can proceed. Okay, thankfully everything is good. Let's proceed or let's start with the consonants discussion on consonants. Now, here the one in yellow. So here in consonants, they are not divided. So monophthongs and diphthongs are only for the vowels part. So there are no monophthongs and diphthongs in consonants. Okay, they are not divided. Here in consonants, they are divided by um how hard it is to pronounce this particular how hard it is to pronounce this particular letter. It can either be voiced or unvoiced. It's in vowels, um they are not divided into voiced or unvoiced because all vowels are voiced. All vowels produces vibrations when you try to say them. Now in consonants, it's not the same case because there are consonants that can be voiced and there are also consonants that can be unvoiced. Now what do we mean by voiced and unvoiced? When we say voiced, you feel vibrations when you try to speak or pronounce the sound of this particular consonant. If unvoiced, of course, you cannot feel vibrations. If you try to pronounce the sound of this consonant, for example, you just try. The trick is you have to touch your throat to really feel the vibrations if there are any. No, for example, let's start with P and B. So let's see if it produces vibration or not. If it does, then that's voiced. If it does not, then that is unvoiced. Let's start with P. How do we pronounce this sound? We have one more time. Do you feel any vibrations in your throat? None, right? Meaning P is unvoiced because there are no vibrations at all when you try to pronounce the sound. How about B? Let's try B or B. B. Okay, go. B, 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 B. One more time. B, B, B. Do you feel any vibrations? Yes, of course. You do feel vibrations for this symbol or this sound. So meaning this is voiced. Now, to quickly identify the chart also, let you see which one is voiced and unvoiced. If it is black, written in black, then that is voiced. If it is written in gray color, then that is unvoiced. Okay, so consonants is divided into that kind of division, voiced or unvoiced. Again, vowels does not because all vowels are voiced. So all vowels here from monophthongs to diphthongs, if you try to say them, they all produces vibrations. So they are all voiced. Okay? Now let's start with how we are going to properly pronounce these sounds in consonants. Okay? We have here from P to letter J. Okay. Actually, this is not later on you will know. Now this is just a symbol, but this is not pronounced as J. Okay. Let's start with P. Now the P consonant is what we call a voiceless bilabial plosive. Now that sounds like a lot of fancy terminology, but it is actually quite simple once you break it down. Bilabial just means you use both of your lips to make the sound, and plosive refers to that little pop of air you create when you release your lips. So to make the P consonant, I want you to start by pressing your lips firmly together. So think of it like you're trying to keep a big secret and you absolutely do not want to let any sound escape. So firmly press your lips like this. So once your lips are sealed, I want you to build up just a tiny bit of air pressure inside your mouth, right behind those closed lips. So when you have that pressure built up, release it suddenly by letting your lips pop open. Here is the most important part to remember. You must do this without using your voice. Your vocal cords, which is the muscles in your throat that allow you to speak, should be completely relaxed and quiet while you make this sound. So if you place your hand gently on your throat and make the p sound, you should not feel any vibration or buzzing at all. If you feel vibration, you're accidentally making the b sound instead. It should be a quick, clean, sharp puff of air. Okay? Again, since this is unvoiced, you do not produce any vibration at all or buzzing sound. So let's practice with some examples to get the feel of this consonant. Again, you pronounce it like this. You feel any vibrations? Of course, none. So this is unvoiced. Okay, so think about the word pan. Pan. The at the start should feel like a little explosion, right? Or the example here we have in chart is P. P. We also have we can try happy. Happy. The P sound happens right in the middle, giving the word a nice sharp break. Another great example is top. Top. Now this time the P consonant sound is at the very end of the word. So notice how your lips close until the very last second and then you release the air to finish word cleanly. Top, top. Here is a fun trick to test if you're producing the p consonant perfectly. You take a small thin piece of paper like a tissue or maybe a page from a notebook and hold it right in front of your mouth. Now say p. So say p clearly. If you're producing the P sound or consonant correctly, that little pop of air you release should make the piece of paper move or flutter. So if the paper does not move, you might not be releasing enough air. Okay? Say for example, let me just quickly get a tissue here and then demonstrate you what I am talking about. I have here a piece of tissue. Okay, this is a piece of tissue again. Again, if you try to produce the P sound or consonant sound, and of course you try to say the word, example here is P, then that little pop of air should make the piece of this tissue move or flutter. So let's try to see if it does that. Again, the word is P. It's already wait. Wait for a moment. Let me just okay. Since there is a fan right in front of me. That is why. So here is a tissue paper. Let's try to produce a sound. Again, see how the tissue moves when I try to pronounce the sound. How about if there is a word, let's say P, as example here. P, P. So there is really a puff of sound there. Okay, so that's how you can recognize the letter P consonant sound at all. Okay, you can also try it on your own if you have any paper or tissue there. Now, anyway, we have some words that has P sound. We have park, pot, push, and pull. While watching that piece of paper that you're using, you can do or speak those words, pronounce those words, okay, and see if it really produces a puff of sound. It should be because that's how it should be pronounced, no? The letter P sound. So that is that for the P. So this particular consonant, the is everywhere in English. You'll find it in words like apple, where it is doubled, or in words like keep, where it finishes the thought. Mastering this consonant is one of the quickest ways to improve your clarity because it is so distinct and forceful. Even in words where the P is followed by other sounds, like in please or play, that initial pop remains the foundation of the consonants. So take your time with it. No, it is a simple sound, but getting the pop clear and ensuring your voice stays off is exactly what will make your English pronunciation sound precise. It also would sound confident and professional. So you're doing a great work. That is our first consonant sound. Again, how do we pronounce it? We say again, uh, one more time. So it's more of a puff of air. Does it produce vibration or is it voiced? No, it is not voiced at all. It is unvoiced because again, there is no vibration if you try to pronounce the sound. Okay. Next, we move on to the next. We move on to the B sound. So this one, no, that is the next sound. So if the P of the or if the P sound is like a secret you're keeping, the B sound is what happens when you decide to share that secret with a bit of energy from your throat. Meaning this is voiced. No, they are made in the exact same physical way. So P and B, you pronounce it the same, but they have one very important difference. Okay. Again, they are pronounced the same, but they have one important difference. Both are bilabial, meaning you use both of your lips to press together and stop the airflow. So that is bilabial. Both are also plosives, meaning they involve that sudden release of pressure. However, they differ in what? P is voiceless while B is voiced. Again, P is voiceless or unvoiced while B is voiced. Meaning, again, P and B is pronounced the same or in the same way, no, physically, but P is unvoiced. B is voiced. So you hear vibrations, you feel vibrations in when you try to pronounce the letter B sound. Okay, so to produce the B consonant, press your lips firmly together, just as you did for the P sound. Build up a little bit of air pressure behind those closed lips, but this time, I want you to engage your vocal cords right from the very start. So as you release your lips to let the air pop out, I want you to make a buzzing or humming sound using your throat. If you place your hand on your throat while you say the word boat, okay, that's the example there. Okay, use your hand, feel your throat, and say the word boat. Boat. One more time. Boat. So you should feel a distinct vibration or buzz throughout the entire sound. Did you feel any vibration? Because I did. No? Let's see. Again, one more time. Boat. Okay, there is really a vibration there. That vibration is the sound of your voice box working hard. Let's look at some examples to really get the hang of it for a moment. Okay. Bat, B-A-T, an animal. You start with that firm lip closure, you add your voice, and then you pop the air out into the vowel sound. Or consider the word baby. You have two B consonants there, giving the word its soft rhythmic quality. So you also see the b at the sound of words at the end of the words, like rub or cub. No, even though the b is at the end, you still need to make sure you turn your voice on to create that buzzing sound. So you use your vocal cords, and that's what make the sound really buzz. It really make your throat vibrates at all. Okay, so if you're having trouble distinguishing this from the P sound, try this experiment. Say both and pot one after another. No, let's try to see that one. Again, we're gonna use both and P. Let's just use P and feel your throat. Okay, let's start with both, both, both. How about P? P, P. Now, for both, your throat should feel busy and buzzy from the movement or lips close. For pat, your throat should feel quiet and relaxed until you actually reached the vowel. So this consonant is a powerhouse in the English language, appearing in common words like big, best, back, and even babble. So the secret to a perfect B or B sound is not letting the voice fade away too early. Many students start the B with their voice on, but turn it off right before the lips pop open. So to get that rich native-like sound, keep that vibration going until the very last millisecond of the consonant. So when you hear the difference between the pop of a P and the buzz of a B, you have taken a huge step forward in your clarity and pronunciation. You are doing a wonderful job building these consonant foundations. So that is the B consonant sound. Okay, we have now completed the first pair of plosives. Are you ready to move on to the next set in the chart, which are the T and the D sounds? Again, the first two sounds, consonant sounds that we've tackled with the P and the B. P, B, P, B. Which one is voiced? Okay, B sound. And then P is the unvoiced. Okay, next we move on. I hope everybody is following. Okay, yes. It could be hard on some of you here when it comes to these different sounds. But please bear with me because we are going to start, of course, with the basics so that later on with complex topics, it would be much easier for you because we already built on the basics or the essentials, which is the individual sounds. No? Because if you know the individual sounds, it would be much easier for you to really read these different words in English. Now you can combine these different sounds. Okay? All right. Let's continue. But if of course, as I've already mentioned earlier, and even I always mention it in my sessions, if you have any questions, clarifications, or you wanted to share your experiences, any kind of responses that you would want to share to everybody, you are free to do so. You can use our chat stream for that. I am constantly checking our chat stream so that I can actually recognize your responses as long as it is related to our discussion. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the next sound, the T consonant sound. Now that we have covered our lip-based, lip-based plosives, it is time to move on to the next pair on the consonant IPA chart, starting with a T consonant. Now you can find this sound in the word T in the third column of the top row, okay, of the consonant sounds. Unlike the P and B sounds that we made with our lips, the T consonant is a lingua alveolar stop. That is just a technical way of saying you use your tongue and the ridge behind your upper teeth to stop the air. Now, to produce the T consonant, take the tip of your tongue and press it firmly against the gum ridge right behind the top um, of your front teeth. You want to make a complete seal so that no air can escape. Once you have that seal, build up a little bit of air pressure in your mouth and then quickly pull your tongue away to let the air release in a sharp, crisp pop. Just like with the P sound, the T consonant is voiceless or unvoiced. This means your vocal cords should remain completely still and relaxed. If you put your hand on your throat while you say T, okay, let's put our hand in our throat and say T, 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 t. You should not feel any buzzing or vibration at all. It is simply a sudden, clean burst of air. Did you feel any vibration when you try to pronounce the letter T sound? T, t. No vibration at all. But if you try to say the word T, T,
T, there might be vibration because there are already vowels in there. And remember that all vowels are voiced. But if you try to speak or pronounce the sound, the letter T consonant sound on its own, you don't feel any vibration at all. Okay? So T is unvoiced sound. Okay? Another example aside from T, we have no we are going to look at some examples to really get this down. Think of the word top, top. You start with the tongue tip seal and you release it sharply for the T consonant. Or try water, water. Here, the T happens right in the middle, creating a nice clean break between the two vowel sounds. You also find it at the end of the words, like in cut or sit. Notice how your tongue stays pressed against that ridge until the very last second, and then you tap it away to finish the word. Now, a great way to practice the T consonant is to focus on the top of your tongue. Many students are too soft with the sound. They let the air leak out slowly like a hiss. But remember, the T is a step. You want to block the air completely before the release. So try saying tap, time, 10, and team. Tap, time, 10, team. Make sure you feel the tongue tip snap against the ridge. T, t, t. Okay? If you can make that snap crisp and quick, you will sound much more natural. Now, this consonant is incredibly common in English and it is a pillar of clear speech. Because it is voiceless, it provides a perfect, sharp contrast to the vowels that come before and or after it. Pay close attention to how much air you use, like the P sound and the T sound should be a tiny explosion of air. If you hold a piece of paper in front of your mouth again and say T, you should definitely see the paper move from the puff of air. But it is much, luster than the P sound. So you're building a solid foundation here, and this consonant is a perfect example of how much precision goes into every single word you speak. Okay? So we have now we have now conquered the T consonant sound. Shall we move on to its voiced partner, the D sound? Are we all good with this one? Again, the third consonant sound is T or T, T, T. That is unvoiced. We move on to the D sound or D, D, D. That is how we say it. D, D, D. Now that we have perfected the sharp pop of the T sound, let's look at its voiced partner, the D consonant. You can find this sound in the word dog, not in the fourth column of the top row here in the chart. Just like we moved from P to B, we are now moving from the voiceless T to the voiced D. The physical position is exactly the same as the T sound, so you try to speak this sound the same, but here you place the tip so you should place the tip of your tongue firmly against the gum ridge right behind your upper front teeth to create a complete seal. That's how you also say or pronounce this particular consonant. However, the difference is all in your throat. While the T is just a puff of air, unvoiced sound, the D requires your vocal cords to be turned on. So when you say the D consonant, I want you to feel that same tongue tip seal, but add a humming or buzzing vibration from your vocal cords the moment your tongue touches the ridge. So let's try to touch our throat. So as you pull your tongue away to release the air, the vibration should still be going strong. Okay? Put your hand on your throat and then say the word dog. Again, dog. Or just say the letter alone. D, 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 D. So you should feel a very clear deep buzz. There is buzzing, there is vibration. So it is a voiced sound. Now let's practice it with some examples. Think of the word day, day, d, d. You start with the tongue tip seal, add your voice, and then release into the vowel sound. Or consider the word ready. You have the D right in the middle, and you can feel how the vibration connects the two vowels together. You also find the D at the end of many words like in bed or red. Even at the end of a word, it is crucial to keep your voice on until the very last second so the D sounds distinct and strong. Now, if you're mixing up D and T, here is a simple drill. Say dog and tap back to back. Again, dog and tap. Dog, d, d, dog. Tap, t, t, tap. For dog, your throat should be buzzing the moment your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. For tap, your throat should stay completely quiet until you have already finished the consonant and are moving into the vowel sound. So this consonant is a workhorse in English. You use it in thousands of words like do, did, dance, and even hard, where the letter T sound is at the end. And because it is a voiced stop, it adds weight and heaviness to words. When you master the D consonant, you will notice that your speech sounds much more grounded and clear, especially when you are speaking quickly. So you're doing a fantastic job with these plosives. Each one of you master makes your overall accent sound more natural and precise. Again, our consonant letter here is D. D or letter D sound. That is the D consonant completed. We have now finished both the lip-based and the tongue tip plosives. Shall we move on to the next pair on the chart? This one, the
And J sounds, as in cheese and June. Let's start with the CH or ch sound. So this is the fifth consonant sound in the chart. We're moving on to this one. Um, the sound is what we call an affricate sound. That sounds complicated, but it is just a combination of two sounds that you already know. The letter T sound you just mastered, and the sh sound, like the SH in shall. So to make it, start by putting your tongue in the same position as T, wherein the tip of your tongue touches the ridge behind your upper teeth. However, instead of just a quick pop, you release the air slowly to create that SH friction or sh. So it is like a T that turns into an SH instantly. So sh, t, 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 letter T and then SH. T, sh, sh. You try to quickly pop. No, you try to turn the letter T into SH instantly. T, sh, t, sh, ch, t, ch, t, sh, ch, 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 ch. Okay, so the ch sound is voiceless here, unvoiced. So keep your throat quiet and relaxed. If you put your hand on your throat, you shouldn't feel any buzzing at all. It should sound like a sharp sudden hiss. So let's say ch, ch, or cheese. Ch, ch. There are no vibrations at all. So let's practice with some words. Think of chip, chip. Start with tongue tip pressure and then let it slide into the SH release. T, sh, t, sh, t, sh, t, sh, sh, ch, 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 ch. Chip, cheese. Or try catch. The ch is at the end, providing a nice crisp finish to the word. You also see it in words like watch, chair, choose. Now, a good way to visualize this is to think of it as a stop friction sound. You stop the air and then release it with friction. Try saying church. You have the sound at the beginning and at the end. It's a very energetic sound, and practicing it will really help your speech feel more lively and dynamic. Ch, cheese, ch, chip. So that is the ch sound. Okay. So the symbol of this one is more like a combination of the letter T and it looks like letter F, but that is the SH symbol. No, look at this one. The SH symbol is like that one. A letter F, but without, a horizontal line in between, in the center. So that is the combination of letters of the CH sound or the ch sound. TF. Okay. Next, we move on to this one, the J sound. Now that we have successfully mastered the crisp voiceless CH sound,
It is time to move on to its voiced partner. So this two is partner. This one is voiceless or unvoiced. This one is voiced. No, the voiced version. So you can find this word in the word June, just like we transition from P to B and from T to D. The physical mechanics for the G sound are nearly identical to the Ch sound that we just practiced. However, the difference as always lies in whether your vocal cords are working. Well, the CH is a voiceless affricate that relies on a sharp, airy release. The G is a voiced affricate that demands a rich, deep vibration from your throat. So, to produce the J consonant, start by placing the tip of your tongue against the gum ridge behind your upper front teeth, just as you did for the T and the CH. Once you have that seal, I want you to start buzzing your vocal cords that hum in your throat before you even release the air. So when you do release the air, instead of a sharp SH sound, you are producing a voiced ZH sound, like the middle of the word vision. It is a smooth, powerful glide from a stop position into a voiced friction. If you place your hand in your throat on your throat while you say June, you should feel a very distinct steady vibration that lasts through the entire sound. So we say June, J, 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 June. There are vibrations at all. So meaning this is voiced sound. Let's look at some examples to really get the hang of this consonant. Think about the word jam, jam. Okay, there are vibrations. You start with the tongue tip seal, and then add your voice, and then release it into the A vowel sound. Or consider the word bridge, bridge, j, j. Notice how the G sounds happens right in the middle, creating a strong melodic transition between the two parts of the word. You also find this sound at the end of many common words like age or judge. Even at the end of a word, it is vital to keep your voice on until the very last moment. If you cut your voice off too early, the j sound will accidentally turn into the voiceless ch sound and you will be saying judge instead of judge. So if you are struggling to hear or feel the difference between the two, it's the ch and the j sound, here is a fantastic drill. Say the words cheap and jeep back to back. Again, cheap and jeep. Jeep as in CHEAP and jeep as in JEEP. So cheap is the voiceless or unvoiced one. Jeep is the voiced one. So let's try to put your hand on your throat and say the word cheap, cheap, jeep, jeep. Now for cheap, your throat should stay totally quiet and relaxed. For jeep, your throat should feel buzzy and busy the moment your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. So practice this with other pairs like cheer and jeer or chain and Jane. So the more you exaggerate the buzz of the G sound, um, the easier it will become to produce naturally. So the G sound, consonant sound, is a total workhorse in English. You use it in thousands of English essential words like just, job, large, enjoy, and even change because it is a voiced affricate. So it adds a level of sophistication and smoothness to your speech. It isn't just a simple pop like the plosives you practiced earlier. It is a longer, more resonant sound that links your words together in a very fluid way. Mastering this sound helps you avoid a common pitfall of making your speech sound too choppy or staccato. So when you get that voice vibration locked in, your English sound will much more be melodic and flowing. So you are asking and making incredible progress. And by now, you are building a really deep intuitive understanding of how these sounds connect and vibrate. So that is the G sound. So far, we did three pairs in total. We have the pair of plosive, we have bilabial plosive, we have and B, P and voiced, B voiced. Next is T and D, T and T, T and D. And then ch and j. And then the last pair for this session, we have the k and g.
Okay, this is the last pair for this evening. For the rest of the consonants, that will be in the next session. We are moving to the final pair in the top row, starting with the letter K consonant. Now you can find this on the word car in the seventh column. Okay, so the K sound or the k sound is known as a velar plosive. While our previous stops were made with our lips and our tongue tip, the K sound is made much farther back in your mouth. To produce this sound, you need to lift the back of your tongue, the part closest to your throat, and press it firmly against your soft palate. K, k. So you lift the back of your tongue. Okay? Now, you press it against your soft palate, which is the soft part of the roof of your mouth located near the back. Just like with p and t sounds, this creates a complete seal that blocks the air. Once you have that seal, you build up pressure and then quickly release your tongue to let the air pop out. Okay. It is important to remember that the K consonant is voiceless or unvoiced. Your vocal cords should be completely quiet and relaxed. So if you put your hand on your throat while you practice, you should not feel any vibration or buzzing. It should be a sharp, clean, and aspirated burst of air, much like the P and T sounds. So examples: car, car, kite, kite. So you start with the back of your tongue sealed against the soft palate and then release it sharply for the vowel. Okay? Or try buck, buck. Notice how the K consonant acts as strong silent stop at the end of the word. You also see it in words like key, cool, and account. In account, the K sound creates a distinct break that keeps the syllables separate and clear. So if you find yourself having trouble making the K sound, try this little trick. Pretend you are gargling water or simply say the word gug gug very slowly while focusing on where the back of your tongue hits the roof of your mouth. That is the exact spot you need to touch for the K sound. Another way to check your work is to use the piece of paper again. When you say car or kite, that puff of air should be strong enough to make the paper flutter, just like it did with P and T sounds. Okay, so the K consonant is incredibly common and is a key part of many English words because it happens so far back in the mouth, it can feel a little different than the sounds we have practiced so far. So that's why it's also difficult, no? But with a bit of repetition, it will become very natural for you. Focus on making the seal tight and the release really sharp. By keeping your voice off and ensuring the quick pop, you're going to sound much more precise in your daily speech. You have already done an excellent job mastering the earlier plosives, and this one is just the next step in building a truly professional and clear English accent. So the K sound consonant is finished. We're now ready to tackle its voiced partner, the G sound, as in go. So are you ready to continue? This will be the last consonant sound that we're going to tackle this evening. Okay? Now that we have mastered the sharp voiceless pop of the K sound, it is time to move on its voiced partner. So here there are vibrations when you produce the sound. Just like we moved from P to B, T to T to D, and Ch to J, the physical placement for the G sound is exactly the same as the K sound. You are still using the back of your tongue to create a firm seal against your soft palate. So, however, the crucial difference is that the G sound is a voiced one, while the K is just a puff of air. So, the G requires your vocal cords to be turned on, creating a rich, steady vibration from the very beginning of the sound to the very end. Now, to produce this consonant, start by pressing the back of your tongue against the soft part of the roof of your mouth. Again, you pull your tongue all the way to the back and press it at the soft palate or soft part of the roof of your mouth at the back. Okay? You press your tongue at the back, press it at the back of your
at the roof of your mouth. So before you release the air, I want you to engage your vocal cords and start that humming vibration in your throat. When you suddenly release your tongue to let the air out, keep the buzz going strong. So if you put your hand in your throat while you say the word go, you should feel a very clear, deep vibration that coincides with the release of the consonant. If your throat is quiet, you're accidentally making the K sound instead. Okay, so say, put your hand in your throat and say the word go, 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 or just say the letter sound g, g. Again, g, g. You put your tongue all the way to the back and press it against the soft palate or soft part of the roof of your mouth at the also at the back. G, g, and produce a sound. You use your vocal cords. G, g. There are vibrations, right? So if there are vibrations, then that is a voiced sound. Okay. Another word is game. Game. So you start with the tongue to palate seal. You turn your voice on and then you pop the air out into the long A vowel sound. Or consider the word bigger. Bigger. Notice the g sound sits right in the middle, giving the word a sense of weight and depth. You also find the g at the end of many words like dog, bag, or egg. A common mistake is to turn the voice off too early. Too early, I'm sorry. Voice off too early and at the end of these words, which makes bug sound like buck, which we try to avoid. Okay? To keep your speech precise, make sure you maintain that vocal cord vibration right up until the moment your tongue moves away from the roof of your mouth. If you're having trouble distinguishing this from the K sound, try this simple experiment. Say go and kite one after another. Go, kite, go, kite, g, g. For go, your throat should feel busy and buzzy from the very second the back of your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. For kite, your throat should feel completely relaxed and quiet until you have already finished the consonant and are moving into the vowel sound. So, yeah, it is a subtle difference, but it is one of the biggest key sounds key sounds are keys to sounding clear and articulate in English. The g consonant is also a total powerhouse that you will use in everyday words like good, get, give, again, and even the color green. And because it is a voice stop, it adds a certain amount of strength to your speech. It is not just a quick flick of the tongue, it is a resonant voiced sound that grounds your words. Mastering the g consonant means you are gaining complete control over the back of your mouth, which is a huge accomplishment. Okay? You have now finished the entire top row of the consonant chart in the IPA chart, which means you have conquered all the stop sounds in English. You're making fantastic progress. So that is the G consonant or G consonant finish. And that will be the last consonant sound that we're going to tackle this evening. So all these top row consonant sounds are stop sounds. So what are the different sounds that we've tackled so far? We have the B, T, D, Ch, J, G. So they're all stop sounds. Okay. So again, be reminded that the gray letters are all unvoiced, meaning there are no vibrations if you try to speak or pronounce the sound. While the black ones are voiced, meaning there are vibrations at all. So, for example, let's try to speak or pronounce the sound of each symbol and then also the examples while holding your throat, while touching your throat. Okay? Touch your throat, everybody, and try to speak the sound. Again, the sound first and then the example. Let's start with letter P down to the letter G. P. No vibrations at all, unvoiced. B, b, boat. There are vibrations, voiced. T, t, t. No vibrations, unvoiced. D, d, dog. Vibrations are there, voiced. Ch, ch, cheese. There are no vibrations, unvoiced. J, j, June. There are vibrations, voiced. Car. No vibrations, unvoiced. And g, g, go. There are vibrations, so this is voiced. And that is all for this evening, everybody. I hope everything is clear. But if there are any questions, you can try to ask that in our next session. Okay? Because I will do a review, of course, as usual. I will do a review, and you can ask me there for any further clarifications so that everything is clear in your end. Now, for this evening, we've did a review on the vowel sounds, and we started with the consonant sounds, the top row of the consonant sounds. In the next session, we're going to finish with the rest of the consonant sounds in the IPA chart. That is all for this evening. May we may you have a good night, everybody. Goodbye, and that is all for today. See you next meeting. Goodbye, everybody.